What is the primary purpose of the order of draw in phlebotomy? And the order of draw is referring to the order in which you use certain tubes. So certain types of blood tests use different colored tops, as we've seen. So we have our test tubes, and these are now drawn to scale. And let's say that maybe, depending on what you have ordered, you have a gold top, you have a lavender top, or over here, and let's say you have a mint colored top. So this question is asking why the order in which we use these tubes is important. So option A says to maintain sterility throughout the blood collection process. And the blood testing process is actually not considered sterile. It's considered a clean procedure. This is not an example of a procedure where you would be using sterile gloves, cleaning the patient in a way where they're completely sterile. This would be considered a clean procedure, and therefore option A would not be the correct choice. Option B says to ensure sufficient blood volume is collected for all ordered tests, and although it is important that you have sufficient blood volume in each tube, this is not part of your order of the draw. This is just something that's important to just collecting the samples in general. So we can eliminate option B. Option C says to minimize contamination of blood samples with additives from different tubes. Let's say you have your gold top here, which has an additive. And let's just draw an example. So let's say we have our patient's arm here, and let's say that their vein is over here. And let's say that you have your collection vacutainer connected to the needle. You have your little vacuum tube. And now let's say that we have our gold top connected here. So you have your tube there. You've got your additive substance on the bottom. And now let's say that now the blood is filling up the tube onto the patient, right? And now let's say that right after that, you attached your red tube, for example. I know there's not a red tube up there, but let's just say now we have one. And there's no additive on this tube. This top part of the vacutainer right over there, the little needle that the blood goes through after it's attached to the patient, is contaminated with the substance that you've got from your gold top, and that could then affect the result of the blood that's going into your red top. And therefore, you would want to do your red top first, so then you're not cross-contaminating any of the additives that are inside of the tube. And also, as an aside, this gel additive could also be seen on your mint top as well. So, it looks like we're going to be going with option C, but let's take a look at the other choices here. Option D says to prevent patient discomfort during the venipuncture, and although it's important you want to keep the patient comfortable during the venipuncture procedure, the order of the draw would not be part of this comfort. Whether you do purple first or gold first or whatever the order is, it wouldn't change the comfort of the patient. And even if it did, that's not the primary purpose of order of the draw. So we can eliminate option D. And that leaves us with option C, what we initially thought, to avoid contamination of blood samples from additives.